See them hang on a little higher up.
Kameshki's a tough place to rotate out of if the circle doesn't hit you, because you got stall where you have to go around it. So that's, I think, part of the issue, and then obviously everything else is covered.
Let's go. Game 4 as we fall down onto Erangel will plummet with Cameron and Toby 1.
Plummet? Uh-oh.
Oh.
Someone cut my chute. All right. Yep. Okay. Reserve luckily in place. Everyone is falling down. Cloud9 are almost alone in Pachinki because, hey, look, as you said, Meth, they're dropping down, doing the classic Na'Vi. If they can't even make it to the main event, at least their strats can be used instead. And, oh yeah. Give me a bridge camp. Give me a bridge camp. This will be fun. Watch the North come to the South. Run away from the White Walkers of the North.
Yeah, so this is good. Well, what was it? We had, for the past couple of months, there was a long stretch where there wasn't a single military base circle, and now we get two in one day. So this is good. This is especially good for Gen G, who we were just criticizing the fact that they keep coming in late. Now they can come in very early.
Well, we thought the as well with the plane, because we were talking before, we can see the plane well before we actually jump in.
Yeah, spoilers.
And it was like straight across the middle. It's like, oh, well, this is a nice plane for everyone to drop exactly where they wanted to.
AKA boring.
Yeah, AKA boring. And then you get a circle like this, and now everything becomes the opposite of boring. Entus, who actually got pushed out, FaZe ended up going for the Entus drop that they did in round 3. They're just taking that southern road across the bottom of the island, never even make it over to Milta. Now they're going to have to go through Entus. They hold the line, and Method, they are boating it up right now. They're going to get all the way around probably to the back, the southern end of the island, because they do not want to get anywhere else near that bridge, because it is going to be the big contest point that actually puts Gen G in a position where for once they don't need to sit in the blue.
Yeah, well, okay.
There's no, they won't willingly sit in the blue.
Unless they want to just keep looting Novo, get every single floorboard, every single nail from those houses out of it. But no, I do expect to see them actually inside the circle before the blue gets close to them.
Yeah, these two teams are the only two teams that land inside the same inside the same city now, which is M19 and Liquid. They'll both start bailing out pretty soon anyway. Vitality, they're the ones who can take every hammer and nail and just build themselves a whole new base, because they got all the time in the world in the middle of the compound.
Don't say that. You can't say building.
I can't say building?
No.
Why not?
That triggers people.
I'm sorry. I will build myself a shop by putting multiple items down for you to select from.
Yikes.
I don't care about the rules.
Clearly.
So Entus have already come over. Remember, we also got that fun new compound and the whole coastline. This is actually almost the best example where we can have a circle which is going to make the most of that northeastern coastline of the main Millie Island. Because it's all been changed up. You've got new arcs in, you've got new terrain to work with. The compound was made on the main road, actually coming down from the Western Bridge too. So much more to work with that can become real interesting depending on how the circle will start to shrink. And it'll do that in about 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, that western side of the island is pretty much close to center of the circle, so we will likely to see a large chunk of that stay in play for a while. Hard shifts, again, completely throwing all of these expectations out of the loop. They were a little tamer last game, but of course each new game is completely different, and so there's nothing we can really take away from that. I'd like to see how we had, Method and OGN rotate very quickly onto South Africa, because they were neighbors and they wanted to take this opportunity to set up shop before anyone else. But everyone else is still just taking their sweet time. You got especially MVP and Avantgarde, who only just moments ago actually got to their loot spots.
All right.
They're going to be coming in
I think we're actually finished looking around at all of the loot spots. So we've done our T-tours, and we can probably now start to think about the crossing, because McCoy has already started. Entus has moved over from the western side. Cloud9 are doing their run as well. So, yep, McCoy, he's actually going to do a run straight through that eastern bridge. Wicked, he pushed up a little bit further forward, and he'll get it only just 5 HP left over, but that's enough to bring down McCoy, and Wicked was the man who was just like, all right, guys, I'll hold the bridge. You want to come over now?
Yeah, I mean, you asked for a bridge camp in Gen G. They put just one person there. There was no need for them to commit an entire squad there. They had the other 3 to get a set up shop.
He only just got that kill.
That's true. Yeah, McCoy almost turned that around. That was a little sketchy, and I think that may be one reason why he's pulling back a little bit. But nonetheless, it's definitely a good idea, good strategy by Gen G to at least wound other teams while not giving up their own positioning.
Cloud9 are making their way over the bridge. The western bridge is a little bit harder to camp up. There's not as many great positions on the edge of it, but that's why you're already seeing Vitality wanting to push the western side. These new compounds are basically smack bang in the middle of the circle, or where you think is probably going to end up on the second circle. Oh, well, that's a nice little loot crate for FaZe.
Yeah.
It's just in the middle of the ocean, and they have a boat, so it's going to be a fast transition over. Ghost taking a very long time to think about how they're going to make their way over to an M249. Maybe not what everyone's looking for, but for some select few, they all like it.
Yeah, I think the M249 is great. I know a lot of other people do too. It's only a couple of specific individuals who have a particular problem with it.
I don't know what we're talking about at all.
I don't know either. It's all hypothetical.
So there's the C9 hold up. They've got Entis, as you see him just a little bit further up on the top part of your screen, who took the higher hill. There's a lot of defilade to work around with. There's not as much cover in the rocks as you'd probably like in this zone. So C9 decide to move a little bit further on and up and around. Liquid are going to make their way over the western bridge too. Ghost decide to actually jump in a boat, and they're going to go all the way around to the south end of the island, where Method are already pretty well established. And I think that's actually where C9 is headed as well. So FaZe have made their way over. They've already got their loot. They've got the northern side of the island. There's Knights as well, who are making their boats. They're going a long eastern run. This is going to take a long time, and they'll be running on fumes for fuel reserves. Tempo Storm are doing the same thing down the west. Still, MVP have not left Severny.
Yeah.
This is going to take some time for them to get in, and that blue's going to come thick and fast. Stab, issues. I think a wheel just got popped out the back of that UAZ. It'll still keep moving forward as Cloud9 gather up together, but they are surrounded.
Yeah, Cloud9 thought that they were early into this. We saw them stop on that hill to scout ahead, and then they tried to drive past positions that ended up being taken by really 3 other teams. Got Vitality, OGN, as well as a couple of members of Method who had a couple of shots onto them. They are able to stop just next to a small little ridge, which they could decide to stay there for now, or if they want to push elsewhere. But as you can see on your screen, that they are quite surrounded at this point, so they may just want to wait for the next circle to make their decision on pushing somewhere else.
Yeah, be patient. Patience is a virtue that you must express right now. Liquid have already taken that western bridge. It looks like they may have a desired. In fact, yeah, they are. They're going to hold up for the moment. They're uncertain if someone's already camping it, so they're leapfrogging forward. Scoom and Sampty will be the scouts. They can get to at least the southern part of that bridge. FaZe is nearby, but they're not really in shooting range just yet. Finally, these boats are starting to make their way in. We've got a Navy fleet encroaching on the military base.
Ghost not even, after they lost McCoy on the bridge, they're just completely avoiding it. They did a rotation all the way around the eastern side. They're going to be coming up from the south, which is pretty empty for now, but now that everyone else is rotating in, it may start to get a little packed.
It's actually MVP forced into a combat moment.
Yeah.
Optic.
Yeah.
Sure, Pang is driving, taking a little bit of a loop around him.
It's whenever that happens from MVP's side, it's just please let me drive. Let me
It
pass,
could even happen
please,
again.
stop.
Baha Waka got information, so he's actually moved up on the road, ready for MVP to come into him, looking for a gun down. And it's actually Hetra who's going to do it. So MVP, the trap was set. They had the information, and they'll get 2 of the kills. Now, the rest of MVP have to go far east to avoid Optic. 2 quick kills on the way in.
You oftentimes see teams in MVP's situation who they spot someone.
Let's see it again, just because we couldn't see it enough first time. Bike, no cover, no armor, and that is just simple.
Just communication by Optic, able to set up that trap. The person at the back says, wait, we got people coming up behind us. Let's deter them down one way and directly into a trap. Very nice trap setup by Optic. Get 2 kills out of it as well, forces MVP to stop, and they could decide to push on that to get the full wipe, but it's going to be in the blue, so they could also decide to just say, you know what, we got 2, let's just leave with that and get into the circle now. We can finish them off later.
Hope Welcome to South Georgia is able to find themselves a boat sometime soon. They are over well far to the side. What is a Vanguard still doing up there? Inactive and Keen. Either they're looking for a car. I don't see a car near them. I don't,
Nope.
we need to pan this camera around in a 360 turn, looking for that mode of transportation.
I'm sure they do, because the other 2 players are already in the circle, so they must have left them with something. They're just trying to grab last few meds that they can, because they did have one of the lowest amount of times for loot, along with MVP.
We're now looking at Cliffhanger. That's Sylvester Stallone's famous movie. It's just like we've got to get up that corner and away to safety. So it seems WTSG could not find a boat. They've all been taken. Yeah. Is there one around here on the docks? Doesn't look like it. Knights. They've I don't know. What's that island in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh, I got none.
Yeah. They're looking for loot. They're looking for Treasure Island. Let's just call that Treasure
Island.
Treasure
there we go.
Island. We're now got a Disney movie, but I don't care.
I mean, what, Pirates of the Caribbean is a Disney movie.
That is true. I'm right on both fronts. All right, circle.
Hard shifts.
We shrink in, and we still got 60% water, but everyone on the east, come on down. You're coming into the method killing zone.
Yeah.
Genji and Ghost will have to come through this. Knights are very happy they stayed at sea. The life of the ocean is the way to go because they have to cut in eventually.
Yeah, the problem for that, though, is that in this circle, in the second circle, if they don't get on the coast before it closes in, there are limited opportunities to climb up from that southern side.
Especially when Method are already coming to the cliff. So they love this. They know the position. Anyone that wants to come in from the south of the sea must go through Method. Anyone in the northern side, well, they've got to go through everyone because all the lines are on top of each other. There's still 16 teams up, still 61 alive as we just reduce. And Genji Wicked, I think this may actually be your potential death. M19 is about to drive right over the top of him. We're seeing his friend Chelita, but over in the distance for a moment. I think they're even thinking about getting out and having a shot over at Wicked. WTSG, they're getting their feet wet. They are swimming from the ferry pier because there was no other mode of transportation to get over.
They're inside. Swimming is often very difficult because it just takes so long, and if you're spotted out, you're a dead man.
Well, James is the only one who could potentially actually find him. As we're looking at MVP, they're all right. They're burning the blue in Milta. Optic are finally making their way through. They were the ones that actually held up MVP in this bit of a tussle.
And they can actually commit to this if they know that MVP are in Milta, but those two players are still just kind of hanging out. But looking at where Hypoc was watching, he may be waiting to see if...
M19, they're going for the run right through Vitality. Yannick had a line for a moment, but that's why he just skid the car up, move to the other side of the defilade to work with Example now. Method don't have a good line of fire. That compound is blocked by the hillside, so they don't see down. Sure. Thanks
for the update.
I thought there was a lot of blue in this game, but that was mainly because the circle is still 60% water. Now Texas, Tempo Storm. Texas, normally the first one to die for Knights, has been such a great killer in this whole tournament so far, but the boat's about to explode. They have to bail out, and Voxy actually got knocked by the boat. They'll blow it up. He's in the water. There's no rest to come from this. So it won't be Texas to be the first one to die. He is into the potential cover as... Oops.
I don't know where Constantine was going.
He was there to inspect the road.
Must have been scouting something out for his team, but
we heard there was a little bit of warping in the road. There's been a lot of heat reaching it, and these roads are just not made for high temperature battle.
You called it. James do spot out WTSG, and this has just gone bad for worse. First no boat, and now they haven't even made it like close to the coast before they're spotted out. Already one down.
The Knight's boat just went the other way too. There's gunfire. I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to be part of anything. They're actually just doing laps. They're doing laps in the ocean at the moment, realizing it's going to be safe for a little bit longer because at least it's inside the zone. But WTSG can't go under, and now Knights are also taking shots from the rest of Tempo Storm.
Ooh, Liquid also taking shots, so that does help WTSG a little bit. Looks like they are getting quite close to the coast, so they may be able to climb up. But Zampa seems to be aware of this. You can see on that minimap, he looks like he's peeking over, actually gets another kill.
Gaxi.
On to Gaxi.
Well, WTSG, we know they had a hard time last time. Loki was a real problem for them.
It's not great.
Vanguard finally, hey, oh wait, they're not going to take the bridge because 4 a.m.
Are they going for a boat too?
No, because there are no boats left. Unfortunately, they're all out of stock. They're all checked out. It's just tourist season at the moment on the Southern Island. MVP are finally making their way in through the eastern side, but Optic, they have been a real issue for them. As Young Tandy wants to make his way through, but Hypoc is there, and MVP is the first team to be eliminated in 16th position. It went from bad to worse to horrific for them.
Yeah, it's still not great for WTSG. Vardy's the only one left of his squad. And Zampa surely knows that he's there. I don't think he can climb up from this spot.
No,
he's just trapped
who
here.
Who needs to? The circle will come on him. He believes.
He's not far from the center, and so depending on where this next circle shifts, he could stay alive for a while, but he's certainly just waiting on the circle, hoping to find something. These two members of Knights also hoping to find something.
Yeah, which isn't Tempo Storm. They don't want to be found by that. And the circle goes south. So
onto C9. C9 with a compound, basically dead center. They can watch over a lot of the circle. The circle is still half water. The next circle is going to be a completely different story, but they still have a good spot to overlook a lot of teams and have a good opportunity to pick up a lot of kills.
I like the Vanguard shot. It's just like, we're just getting the tan, boys. we're getting the tan. We'll come in when we're well and done, rotisserie style. Liquid, bring in the transportation. They are on the northern side of the circle. That compound is only half in, and it's kind of a terrible one to get out of because you're basically in defilade to all the next points of the circle that people will hold. But Vitality could hold the edge of the military base. This, of course, Genji and Optic now actually condensed together around M19 Method and Vitality's eastern front.
See Genji actually taking shots, but Diaz running around, about to get approached by FaZe. I mean, they're able to make it. A couple of members into the circle. I think the two are still actually outside. I don't see where they are on our map anymore. They may have wrapped around to go across the bridge, but at least they do still have those two that they sent early inside. Yep, there they are. Yep. They're coming down the bridge, and CPT, they're waiting for the latecomers because there always are some.
Come at me, bro. Come at me. They got to bounce off. The blue is still pushing them hard. They take out a wheel. In fact, they're just shooting underneath the car. Nowhere to really go. Is that a grenade popping down underneath them? And maybe they're both knocked out. And boom, boom. 4 a.m. Chalk up 2.
They expected to find a boat that late into this round.
Considering everyone moved so early on.
A bit ambitious.
Yeah. Ghost waiting for their first catch of the day, which is going to be Optic.
Ooh, Turtle missing those shots.
Careful of the bike. Careful of the bike. Careful of the bike.
Hello.
Careful. Bikes are very dangerous.
Now the rest of Optic, they do maybe able to find an angle onto this fight, but they got to get in.
This nade. Come on, be sick, be sick, be sick. It's too far. It's only a slight flu. It's not totally sick. That one also a little bit too far up, but it's allowing Optic to push in as Turtle bunkers up, tries to med quickly. The grenade still flying a little bit too far over. But Optic want to push, and Ghost, they need to hold this high ground. Or else there's no way to continue forward. And through the line, Turtle threading the rock needle. Hetra comes in way too late. At least he knows where he is. He's prepping the nade to try and help Bahawaka, who's trying to push up as well at the same time. Turtle will be knocked. The shell shock grenade sounds ringing through the ears. There's still one more up. But Optic being a little bit more iffy about pushing it as Method have made attention over here. And it's X-Chris who actually gets the kill onto Turtle.
Yeah, they heard the kerfuffle and got distracted, and now third-partying that.
Goodbye, Godv.
Yep, more rotations coming in, bombing dead center, no other option because there's so little land in this circle.
That was such a great split as well. Liquid are in that too, so we basically just ran the death alley of Liquid's creation.
Yeah, ooh, Algin peeking over, finishing that kill Baja. Now it's just a 1v1, I believe, with Hetror.
Well, balls it up. You got the high ground.
But Method also have the third party on Allergen, so it's a little bit of a trade. Now, Allergen isn't the last player of Ghost. There is still Balak off further into the circle, but Hetror is the last one, I believe, of Optic. He's in the circle now. He may not want to push this until the next circle happens because he knows just how stuck he is in that corner. 4 a.m., though, the other three members that are not God V are able to find a spot, but it is just barely inside.
They'll be okay with this for now. Allows them to have a long-range battle with Vitality, who are still kind of locked in another two-way battle with Genji, who are locked in a two-way battle with Method and Vitality. So everyone's having a piece of everyone's pie. And the circle, we're finally cutting out the water, or at least as much of as we possibly can, and we're headed northeast. So FaZe in probably the most advantageous position next to Mumino as they hold the hill of this zone.
Yeah, next to a little bit of cover as well. Never hurts them.
Like Draydon's getting knocked down, but
they're able to climb up and they're not far from the edge. So it looked really bad for them driving around, but they're kind of able to sneak in. Still 15's alive.
The first time that FaZe, like, okay, you're not playing the edge, but you're actually in a nice position to try and capitalize on kills. That's why Fuzzface and Gustav are moving over to try and take care of 4 a.m. Cloud9 doing the rest, and looks like Ghost, well, they haven't kicked the bucket just yet. Balak's still alive.
But yeah, Allergen did go down, it looks like.
Yep.
So it is still 1. Yeah, this transition has been really bad for a couple of teams, but we also still see a lot of teams with close to 4 up. Gen G being one of them, actually able to rotate in. Like we said, this rotation's quite easy for them coming from Novo, just wrapping around that southern side. Haven't had to deal with too many players. Diaz goes down though.
Yep,
Now
that just leaves Mumino. There's not much left in the tank for Avanga, as there's your ghost player Balak running the side. He can at least stay in. I don't know if there's going to be a way up on that hillside, and that's where actually Tempo Storm are in the water. BenQ's down there.
Well, he can follow Knights up, but the boat also gives him the information that someone is going to be there.
Oof, I don't know if that's scalable. The rock part maybe, but that sheer cliff is definitely not. But he'll give it a shot.
He'll be able to make his way up. He'll be fine on that, and just it's going to be on the Knights on whether they look behind them or not. We've seen how disastrous that can be for other teams.
And Kramer is right there. Like he's so close to Balak that he could find him. So this Fuzzface realizing like, okay, well I wanna gatekeep 4 AM as much as I possibly can. This does give a great crossfire. Goodbye Mumino. So Jempty, they're able to take control of the hillside, and Avangara out in 15th.
I like the spread by FaZe. They have 4 alive into the late mid game.
It's information, right?
Yeah. Well, this is also a good position for them to start to take over like we've seen them do before, getting a couple of kills. By couple, I mean 1 on Jempty, but there's going to be a number of players having to rotate into them, and they have a spread to try and catch as many as they can and try and output damage across the board.
4 AM have to move out real soon. Like that blue zone is coming in. It is the slowest creep corner, and Fuzzface is very well alone. Like it looks Gustav's going to help him out, and poor Balak. He is not inside the circle there. He needs to move in just an inch, I think. The circle is kind of half cutting him.
He may be inside just barely, but if he is, it's in a tiny little cave shadow. Nice
Vitality are actually shooting at 4 AM too. Like, how do they get out of this? Like, Fuzzface is holding the north, Vitality are holding the south, and everything else is exposed.
It's really not good for them. They got to start landing some shots. Simson, though, goes down for Gen G, so they finally get hit.
And Method are pushing him, too. This is that hillside, which stopped Method from attacking previously, but now they can just charge down over the hillside and wipe out Gen G. That's exactly what they're doing. Vard, he's close by. Hold the gunfire. Does not want to shoot. Do not attract Tempo Storm. In fact, there it is, Method, taking out Gen G on the push.
Yeah, a good defense by Method to control this area. Gen G having to push in. I think Method, actually, they pushed up from that compound onto them, but now they're in the sight line of Vitality, and 8 goes down.
Man, FaZe, it's almost like they've just taken Liquid Circle Lock. They are now smack bang in the middle. The hillside is what they control, and everyone comes over to them, and Method having a hard time doing it. Vitality as well as FaZe have a good line over. M19 was causing some problems. Cloud9 will be forced out of their compound, but at least they have a lot of information. They're actually shooting over towards Jempty. And force him closer to the rest of FaZe, and FaZe are consolidating their power.
Hetro's running. He's got a good number of first aids, so he should be okay if he's not spotted by Method. But it's going to be close either way.
The chunking is real hard.
Yeah, that's it's always the bad part. But yeah, with Cloud9 though, as you brought them up, they're not far from the circle, but what they want to do is try and get as much damage on all the other squads who have to move in past them before they then move in themselves. They want to kind of thin the herd, as it were. OGN want to do a similar thing, and Liquid got to move straight through them. Your boy Dre from Tempo.
Yeah, he's left behind. The rest of Tempo Storm are not coming back from him. So
there's no cover.
Goodbye, your boy Dre. Cloud9, they're still laying fire into Tempo Storm, but with Entus also gatekeeping from the other side, they're on foot. Such slow movers. One tree to give them some level of cover. Your boy Dre, the kill is actually stolen by Entus. And with Liquid moving, Entus is just free to just unload, and Vard realizes it too. He got shot at. Method move out quickly, but M19 already in a pre-prepared position. Ready to lay that fire out. Some smoke cover to try and do some work, but Tempo Storm, they got no other choice. Run the smoke or else the blue will burn you. Got Entus. Chalk him up, knock him down.
So the ducking and weaving, but it's only a matter of time with the distance that they had to cover.
FaZe are also being heavily pushed by Liquid on the north side. 4 AM managed to get themselves inside the circle. Vard's just trying to outlast for the moment. X-Chris, that's not the knock he wanted to have. All the full down stab finishes him off. Method just unable to control that southern part of the circle.
Well, they get inside, and they're at least able to make 2 up there to avoid the crossfire of Vitality and M19. C9, they were able to push forward as well. Example taking some nice shots on the Method. And oh, he actually wipes Method.
Yep.
It seemed like they went for more than they actually could handle.
It was just a horrible position. They try to force it in. M19 already in a pretty prepared position, hold them back, and there's just nowhere to go from that spot. The upside is the fact that FaZe are going on a wonderful flank. I'm loving this at the moment. They're actually going all the way around Liquid. They're coming down the hill to battle it out as now also Enters pushing up onto Liquid. It's a full pincer maneuver, and Liquid just do not have the numbers. Yak will knock out Scoom. FaZe are taking care of the north, but the question is, can they take care of Enters as well and control this northern side of the circle? Ibiza, he's out of there. He's just running towards the mid. Don't think I'm here.
He's gone, but OGN and FaZe are still going at it. Nades coming out. Gonna try and clear it away, but FaZe looks like they actually want to pull away from this. They recognize that there's not much cover between them and OGN.
Oh, poor Ibiza. He thought he was actually out and home and host, but Cloud9 have now found him as well.
Yeah.
It is...
There's a severe lack of real cover in this area. There's some hills and stuff to gain control out of, but for a single player, there's really no safe place you can find solace in.
Yep.
C9, though, pushing in on M19.
Yeah, this is a lot better push than what we saw out of Method Cloud9. At least they had the information because the shots rang out before. That's something which Method did not have. And now 4 AM, oh, Jempty, knocked out by Long. The M24 going to work. And 4 AM would love to get a finish on him or just use him as bait. Fuzzface is well knocked. The smoke is out. They can pop a couple of shots through, but looking forever, trying to capitalize on the situation. Gustav's rotating over as well. The stand-in, they're going for a quick res, but Forev, he's prepping the grenade. All 4 FaZe standing on together.
Oh, no.
The grenade flies forward and ready for it. There goes Jempty down. Fuzzface will be knocked as well.
Oh, look at that.
But they are leaving. They have nothing left. The circle is pushing. And FaZe, no protection available. Gustav came in to help. And 4 AM are happy with what they've done.
Just barely surviving with maybe, what, 10 HP each?
Yep, they're leaving forever to take care of the rest. Maybe one quick shot through the back.
He's healing up. He knows the blue is about to come in.
Well, the rest of 4 AM having to battle against Vitality. They're still 4 strong on the eastern side of this circle. Cloud9 pushing towards Enters. K-Mines preparing the grenade. That's going to be a little bit too short. There goes Forever. It'll be dropped on down. This is the big push. Cloud9 versus Enters. Control of the West. The grenades are pretty damn good as well. K-Mine and Moody backing up. Christus firing right over the top of the head. Suppressing fire is good to then actually get the down onto Moody. 4 AM, Long, well, flipping the bike in style. Still in cover from M19, but there goes Cloud9. They're actually out. Enters. Take the fight, Vard. Oh, he's waiting. There's 2 right on top of him. He could just nail them both down right now and get the kills. He's allowing the med to happen. He doesn't want to take the fight. Vard, there's 0 kills for WTSG. He just wants to play for position, but the circle is right behind him as well soon.
He's not even inside yet.
Has to push in.
Oh.
Enters are driving away.
Enters first still...
No one has noticed he is there on the edge. Mira's doing a lap around. Yak's not looking that way. They don't think anyone's there. Vard had a chance to get a 2 straight down. The gunfire is out. It's going towards Mixie, however, as Enters battling up against FaZe on the edge of the circle. Has to limp in a little bit further, but Vard, yeah, he's good. He's good. Enters are now the bodyguards. President Vard.
If they still don't spot him, they're actually driving further south away.
To him. Oh my God! All right, yeah. Now we've worked it out. Now we've worked it out. WTSG out in 7th position. Zentus, there won't be any low-key action this time around.
He was really playing his luck there. Many other players would have gone for those 2 kills because just how close they were. But OGN still with 4 up. Only team that's really outside the circle right now going to have to push in up this hill. The problem is... I guess not problem. What's good for them is that there isn't really a full team in the circle. It's just Vitality who are still being able to play completely slow and easy still for, and they're able to spot out.
That grenade, ooh, it's a little too long.
Away.
Oh, okay. Well, if first you don't succeed, throw 6 grenades. An example is now knocked out. Yannick is able to do it actually with the AK instead of the grenade. And a lead player, there's no way he's going to get down there. So that is going to be M19 down to 1 final player, Mixie. How many times can he take extra damage?
Is the high ground of FaZe Going to help them face off against the 4 men of OGN. OGN did send Christus in, so they have 1 player inside.
You say yes for now. Like, they actually have the high ground while Vital, like, everyone else will be battling for the small amounts of cover they have available. The only thing, the problem for FaZe is they don't have a hard cover. It's a defilade cover. So they poke their heads up. It becomes a very nice target.
With Christus inside, OGN actually don't even want to use their vehicles. They're just going to use smoke for safer passage in. Now that Christus has said, hey, this tree, this spot's fine. And so it looks like OGN are going to be able to keep 4 inside. It's Vitality also pushing in as well.
He blends really nicely with that car. That is some good covert work. And finally, example, Vitality are just getting sick of this. He's going to bleed out in a bit anyway. But enters, pushing forward. Gustav, well, okay, yep, sure, put that DP to use. AK as well, enters, push up, but man, they just get wiped. FaZe doing it all themselves.
OGN,
Wait, did they see a Pincer as well? Pincer is so close, but he's inside the grass and so far hasn't moved that much, so FaZe haven't realized it. The grenades fly forward towards M19, and there is a lead player being knocked out. The car explosion would have done it if the M4 didn't do it. So 3 teams left. Pincer is the one. Vitality, hey, how many times have we seen this? 4 players left alive on the final circles.
And the next shift does go on their direction, so once again, they can just play easy Ibiza.
Oh, don't spoil it.
Does he want to go for the spray? Oh, getting the shots through.
No, doesn't actually get the down as well. So Gustav, now to finish the job. Mixie will have to heal up pretty quickly, and Gustav hunting for more. 10 kills total for FaZe. It's been a good round for them, and damn, did they need it.
Let's see if they can 2v4 this one. Vitality have the circle, and they can just play safe, but they are in a corner, and if Gustav can swing around with Mixie at his back, they could find an angle and get a spray down on the other 4 members, but you can already see a little bit. Vitality are going back onto that 2v2 or 2-2 split that we saw at the end of last game to cover all their angles. I say that, and Monkey actually goes back to the main force. But FaZe, they actually are, in a way, forced to split up because otherwise they would only have 1 angle from attack, and now they can at least assist each other because they have no clue where Vitality are.
Yep. They need to wait for the information. The blue zone will condense. Just saying, like, Vitality, they don't really have to go anywhere, so we just wait this out. We've got some time. Grab yourself a beverage. Doubt Vitality will want to push this. We did see them in the last round having a very similar position, and they went for the 2-2 split and then looked out, but then they brought themselves together for a straight-up trade, and they know it's either a one-on-one or it's just 2 players together. And the way FaZe are playing it, they do have at least a half-decent crossfire. Yeah. With Mixie having the hill and Gustav being probably more of the bait distraction down the hill. They have glasses and a helmet. Okay, it's a level 1. I'm interested, like, why we're having a nice close twitch look at a ScarL. It looks beautiful. The graphics of this game are very nice.
So the one thing that FaZe may have on their side, oh hey, look, even closer look, is the fact that
is there something up my nose?
The fact that Vitality, they only had that small little hill other than Shadow to hide behind. And so they are going to have to go out in the open, and FaZe could catch them the same way that they caught OGN. But ultimately, I think the fact that Vitality still have 4 up and that this circle is going to go dead center does mean that they can send 1 or 2 forward, and even if they do get taken out, it's going to give the information towards the rest of their squad to get the immediate trade.
Yep. They need a knock to start this off in a good way, FaZe. They need grenade follow-ups. This is the dream already. Mixie being scouted out with Vitality, just firing a couple of shots over the hill in FaZe. Mixie is coming down. So Shadow is the closest to them. We're taking that forward position at the trees. Yannick has a perfect cover, and they see Gustav moving over. Yannick clipping on the blue. They push forward as we see him even, like just communication, Vitality. Communication. Do this right. Do it good. Do it clean. FaZe starting to put up the smoke wall. Grenades are coming in from Vitality too. Looking for that small opening. Gustav checking the hill. Monkey is trying to push it up. He sees him for half a moment. Gustav getting knocked down. In fact, yes, Monkey can do it. So it's all up to Mixie. The last man standing. 1v4. The odds are against him, and he won't get any further. Both kills go to Vitality. No rebuttal. And a 3rd victory for Vitality. They are